Well,
good morning.
I'd say Happy Mother's Day, but you're not a mother.
No, I just gave my mother a hug and
well, you better. Don't you know why? I've deemed myself a long time ago as the official checker-upper, and you shall know them by his fruits. I tell people that are total strangers, I said, hey, you better have proper respect for this elderly man over here. And they look at me strangely, and I said, by the way, I'm the official checker-upper on these matters. It's called paying due respect for your elders, period. Without them, you wouldn't be here. I put people in their place all the time. I just do.
Well, you know, I think I just wonder how many people are really visiting this site.
Is it going nuts?
I think it is. I just got this last request here, and it's up at in this last day 5,000 requests. And I went to the request. There's a table you can go to and look and see where people are coming from.
Can you look at a graph and to see how exponentially it is?
Yeah, you can see that in a way, but the thing is, this is on the For Wealth site, and we get requests from that site, and then on the .org site, there's also requests coming that we don't even count on that site. So we don't.
We don't know.
You don't know. It could be twice what it is.
The point is, the real issue is people are wanting to know how can I implement it. Yeah. That's really the key. How many people are going to take the leap of faith? It has nothing to do with me. They either agree or disagree with that multiple signature page. That's simple.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to weed people out, so you never have to talk to them again. It will.
Yeah. Well,
and then keep this also in mind. And when people call you and say, oh, I totally agree with the multiple signature page, just simply ask them, can you send me a fax of that? You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Well, you shall know them by their fruits. You know, they say a lot. They give us, what is it, the Bible says they have, not the itching ears one, they puff themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
I had 4 ducks in the yard eating out of this tray. See, for a whole week, just to change gears, for a whole week they've been on the other side of the road watching all this filibuster going on over in this yard. I used to have this little pizza pan that was made of plastic. It was a serving tray for vegetables. And one day I was riding back here, and I seen this big lid. It looks like something that would come off a water softener salt tank dispenser. And so I couldn't believe it the first time I went by, and I just passed it up. But next day I was looking for it, and there it was. So when I picked it up, it was 2.5 feet across. And I'm saying, damn, how am I going to fix this to my bike so I can get it back, because it's going to make one hell of a serving tray for birds. I mean, 50 of them can belly up to the bar. I'm not kidding you. Whereas the little 14-inch saucer dish that's like a pizza pan, they were fighting over it. And so this ends the fighting. At any rate, for a whole week, these 2 ducks across the way have been watching, but they're on the other side of the asphalt. And yesterday was the first day that they came into the valley in the front yard and came up and started taking it up.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And today it was 4 of them. They get real skittish because of squirrels and pigeons, though. And so they'll fly off at a moment's notice. But I'm sitting here, under a shade tree, maybe 20 feet from it, and they could give a damn. Most all of them could give a damn. The only time I get up is to scare the blackbirds and especially the crows. But I'm fixing to remedy the crows. I'm sick and sick and sick of they bully other birds. Period. And besides, a pump pellet pistol, you can vary the amount of the effect. And so what I'll do is I'll start out with get the hell out of the yard, and if you keep on persisting, you're going to be blackbird pie. That's just how I'm going to how to work it. Period. People that are gun haters are people haters. They don't want them to have the ability to defend themselves.
That's the truth.
It's the truth. People have an inherent ability. You know, Mao Zedong once said, all power emanates from the barrel of a gun. And those people that are gunless are powerless against the people that have the guns. Free people should never, ever surrender their power, period. To no one. Surrender to your Father in heaven after you leave this planet. You think I'm kidding? This property is what it is. Portable private property. What's gold? Portable private property. What's a bike? Portable private property. That's all it is. And there's only two kinds, fixed and movable. That's it.
Yeah.
They started with the guns. Actually, they started putting the division within the family when they gave the woman, the created being from Adam's rib, the right to vote. That put division in the family. Man's the head of the house, one vote, one household, period. It's not my philosophy, that's his. And besides, voters are things, and so there's only one casting of an election. If I was to tell people to cast their election, it would be a certified document. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Mm-hmm. Then go record it right after you mail it, or send it in as a write-in ballot. Why? Because you should let your yays be yays and nays be nays. Should there be anything in your life that's secret? You know what I said to this lady at the polling place one time? Mm-hmm. I said, "Oh, I see you have a bar thing next to my name in your ledger book here." And she goes, "Oh yeah, that's new this year." I said, "Yeah, but I see you're still committing fraud because the bar is not on the ballot. You want me to sign down here where the bar thing is, but the bar symbol is not on the ballot." I said, "Gosh, guys, it amazed me all the time." She goes, "Oh, that's a secret ballot, though." And I said, "Yeah, but for whom? You or for us?" And she said, "Oh, yeah."
These people,
they're stupid.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, if you think for a minute, if I can figure it out, and I'm just Michael Average, that's all I am. I'm nothing special. If I can figure out how many more millions or billions have figured it out, that are smarter than I am, have had, college education and stuff. Especially.
I think the trouble with a lot of them is they just don't care to do anything to change things.
Wait a minute. It's all been done. There's no excuse now.
No.
Is there? Yeah, I like that part. There's no excuse, not even for Lisa.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, this World Wide Web, I just wonder how long they're going to let us have it. And I have updated the .org site.
I did tell you that Gary got his package that I sent Monday.
Uh-huh.
I told him to set it aside for the moment. Don't put it into play. Wait until this next one comes. I think it came to him because they had no other choice, but the priority came to their office Saturday. And they had to get that thing out of their office. Why? Because they already know that I've made these things certificates of mailing. You have to understand how they think. First off, anything that gives you a receipt is proof of mailing. It is. But why would they use the word deposit? And that word is only used in this thing called certificate of mailing.
I see.
Why? You have to ask the reasons why. And so when you combine that whole row of information, it's a certificate of deposit and proof of mailing. That's what it means. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's what they're stuck with. Why? Because now they have cognizable knowledge. The both of them, don't they?
Right.
Yep.
And they can't play like they didn't before. And
Oh yeah. And so here's the gist of it. The gist of it is, if they didn't report this to their superior officers, what happens? they go to jail for felony, obstruction of justice, and more fraud. That's first. And misprision of felony. You're supposed to report this stuff. At any rate, if that's not enough, then it's willful failure to file. It deals with taxes. And see, if they open that package up, and you can bet they did. Why? Because as far as I'm concerned, do I really want it? No, I don't need it. Lisa needs it. And so does the postmaster, so they can report it to the inspector general, or in this case, to the governor general. I don't use that term, but that's the capacity of the so-called president. The president is only the president in time of peace. He's the commander-in-chief of the military. And so what rank is he? Do you have any idea?
No.
In law, he's called the governor general.
Governor General.
Yep. And do you know what the Vatican is called?
No.
Superior General.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yep. These are capacities.
It's amazing how the Vatican controls everything.
Well, sure.
I mean, it's just simply is out of the...
You've heard of that terminology, Vatican assassins.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think's been doing all this for all these years? Go look at the Jesuit oath. Good grief. Does it surprise you that they came running to that dentist up in Massachusetts wanting to know why he's threatening the president?
Yeah.
Because he's not. Those guys are. Why don't you go pick them up? And so did they get cognizable knowledge that they had it in their hand?
I bet they walked away really miffed that morning.
Well,
I bet they...
It's a shame that he didn't get photos of them.
Yeah.
I try to teach these people, because you're through testifying. If they come on your property and it's a neutral, non-combatant zone until the war is over with, then they're enemy combatants, and so consequently, can you confiscate everything from them? Yes. Every bit of it. Their car, their guns, their clothes, everything. Call up the sheriff to come and pick them up. Think I'm kidding. We've always had the power, you just don't know how you wield it correctly, that's all. What protects you and insulates you is the document. That gives you all the full force, weight, and effect. You were telling me the other day that, or maybe Gary was in some of these meetings, that their sheriffs in it, they know that they are Magna Carta sheriffs. Was it you?
No, I think it was Gary.
Yeah.
But see, if somebody wants to run for office...
Don't you realize that who in the hell's teaching them this? It's not in their books here.
Right.
They got to be reading this shit.
Right. I've got to get a copy of the Magna Carta and put it up, too. Somehow I have to get a copy. It needs to be put up there.
Well, just take it off the Avalon Project. That's where it's at.
Okay.
Or make a click to it.
I'll make a click to it.
It's just that simple. Just put in Avalon Project, and when it comes up, you're looking for
is that
documents.
AVLONPROJECT?
AVALON.
AVALON
Project. Just put in the Avalon Project. It'll get you to Yale Law University. And what'll come up in the search is what you want is 18th century documents or before. Here's what they give you if you get into their document section in its entirety. Is you'll get pre-18th century, 18th century, 19th century, and 20th century. They got shitloads of documents.
You want to go to
pre-18, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And just scroll down till you see the Magna Carta.
Okay.
Try about the metal M's.
See, people who want to run and change things, and we were just talking with a gentleman about this, and, you know, my suggestion to them was to run for sheriff.
That's where all the weight is.
All right. Forget all this running for
all these other, because they're all controlled.
Right.
See, with the advent of this, the sheriff has three capacities. He's the corporate body member known as the office holder of the sheriff's department. Then the next blip in time is he's the Marshal of the Territory, and you'll find that language over in Title 42, Sections 1989 through 1995. He's riddled through it. And so we had territorial marshals. They are different than these ones that were created after the Civil War called U.S. Marshals. They're there to protect the bankers and the bankers' interest. And so what was he before this thing called the U.S. Marshal System? He was a Magna Carta Sheriff before they created this document called the Declaration of Independence. That's what he was. That's all it was here. We had English law, common law that was here, and the Bible. That's all. There was no book and page numbers of anything. So when they dealt with what was on the record, they limited themselves. They were basically telling the world that we're not a Christian nation. That's what they did.
Huh.
And yet all the documents prior to that prove that this is why they came here, because it was a Christian nation. They were Christianizing everything. And so that's why they had to have, I call it, controlled opposition. You had to have the evil come into this country. Why? Because good and evil exists. You have to realize that's just the way it is. I'm not here to eliminate evil. I'm going to let their own system do that for me.
Yeah. Under the Soldiers and Sailors Act, how is, we discussed it once before, but I don't have it all put together in my mind. Where did you go back to secure that information on the land?
The land patent?
Yeah.
So,
you said you went back to 1700?
Oh, yeah, 1796. It's an art.
Okay.
It's in the array of the court. Of if you pull up the 49-page document, it's right in it.
Okay.
You have one handy in front of you? Okay, let me find where mine. Hold on. I'm looking for mine. I think it's in here. I keep a spare with me. I'm just trying to figure out where I hid it. I think it's in this. No, it's not that one. It's this one here. No, not that one. Here it is. Here's where you'll find it. If you're looking at the document from July.
From July 6th.
You'll find it at, let's see. Here it is, page 7. Tell me when you're there.
I'm on it.
Number 30, an act regulating the grants of land.
Okay.
Now, you want to see the real document?
Yeah.
Good, because I can't print this up. I had a friend do this.
Uh-huh.
But when you go into this website, there's 2 ways you can print. There's the standard way, and what they'll do is they'll give you a cover sheet and an ending sheet.
Right.
And if it's just 1 page, and in this case it's 2 pages, it'll be a total of 4 pages that will come out of your printer. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Go back to your MSN search block thing.
Okay.
This is where I'm going right now. Come on, do something.
Search the web. I'm on it now.
Well, I'm not even there.
Uh-huh.
Damn. Come on, do something. I'll do it a different way. MSN.com. Just do it in manually. Come on, do something. Boy, is it real slow. Wasn't this way this morning?
You're on a cable.
No, yeah, we're on broadband.
Yeah, that's
Comcast.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, is it?
It should be on dial-up. It would be a good.
Wow.
It would be a good thing for you to go through on dial-up.
I know why it's offline. That's why.
Okay.
Here's what you have to do in this MSN search block.
All right.
You here, let me get rid of this because it's not going to do me any good anyway. What you do is when you get that blue screen with the MSN and that big long cursor bar, put in the United States statutes at large.
Any spaces?
Yeah, space between every one of those words. The United States statutes at large.
I misspelled states. S-T. Statutes. S-T. S-T-A-T-U-T-E-S. Statutes. At large.
At large. Then click. And then you're going to get your multiple choice stuff. You're going to have to tell me what the first thing you see is and the website that it gives you below it. Because I go by the website.
Okay. It says Guide to Law Online, Statutes at Large, homepage, U.S. Congressional Documents, United States
Tell me
statutes and this.
Okay, stop. Tell me what the website, www.what?
It doesn't really have it here. What should it be? And I could probably pick it out.
I think it's loc.gov. Or maybe it's USCongress.gov. That's what you're looking for.
Okay, then I should be on this one here. This will do that for me, I think.
Okay. See if I could bring it up. I could make an educated guess.
Statutes at large, United States law. Let me see if this is the government site.
It better not be Cornell or any of that other trash. It's got to be
this
the Library of Congress.
This is memory.loc.gov.
It sounds like Library of Congress, LOC.
Yeah.
Okay, click.
Okay. And I need to go to...
you browse. Is there a browse thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Browse.
Okay, what'll come
browse
up is...
statutes at large and page headings. I go statutes at large. Okay. Volumes 1 to 18.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Click. There should be a little box there. You click on Volume 1 first. Okay?
Okay, Volume 1, title page.
And then there should be a little box to put a page number in, right?
Yeah, turn to image I.
No.
It says page I.
No, I know. That's what it says. Put a cursor line in it and eradicate it.
Yeah, eradicate the I.
That's right.
Okay.
And then go back to page 7 in the document and type in the first digit of the number, which is, I think, 491 or something like that. It says right there, on point number 30.
Okay, now I have Century of Lawmaking for New Nation, United States Congressional Document Date 1774 to 1875. Statutes at large. I should probably click that right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops, I went back to where I was. Okay. Now it says, underneath that, where it says A Century of Lawmaking for New Nation, it says page I, turn to image.
Yeah.
And that's where I put...
You have to put the page number in there, but
okay.
You have to eradicate that I.
Okay, I did. Now, the page number I should put in...
On page 7 of the document, it'll give you the page number.
Okay.
Look at 30 and
okay.
And it'll tell you the page number.
Okay.
What does it say?
It says...
Volume 1, page what?
I'm reading through it now. It says 1 stat 490-491.
That's it. There's your page number right there, 490.
Okay.
Put 490 in there and click. And it'll get you to the actual act.
Okay.
Now, there's
and it says...
Does it come up? Did it come up?
Yeah, it says Section 1, Chapter 46.
Just stop.
Okay.
The point is, there's 2 ways to print that. It says... improved or something. It's either at the top or the bottom of the page for printing purposes. Improved image.
Yeah.
What does it say? Read it. I don't have a screen, so I can't tell you.
I know. It says next image. I'm looking for a place to click to print it.
What I usually do is I scan across it and make it blue. But it has 2 different ways to print. It has the standard way, and here's what happens: is you get an image of 5 inches by 8 inches on the paper of 8 by 11, and if you click this other improved image, it's done by Kodak. It blows it up and spreads it out.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that. I know you have to have a floppy disk because you have to download it into the computer, save it, and then print it back up, and then it spreads it right out.
I just, when I put my cursor up in the left-hand corner, I had 4 little icons come up, and I clicked the one to save it, and I saved it into My Pictures. And I'm now going to my my pictures.
Should be 1 or 2 pages. That's all.
Yeah, to open it up.
Either way, it's never been, what is it called? It's never been terminated. It's never been made obsolete, and it's never been deleted. Why? Because they need it. They've been using that. And see, when you read the whole act, it doesn't say the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ in it. It says the gospel. Whose gospel are they working for?
Okay, I see. It comes up here, and
says improved image.
I'll have to work with it. It's a GIF image. I should be able to put my cursor in the lower hand corner. I did. I expanded it. Okay.
Yeah, it spreads it out real nice across the page, and it prints up in its bigger letters. Because if you print it up normally, it'll have one page 490, and it'll be a block section of like 5 by 8 inches on a page of 8 by 11. And it's really condensed, small letters. It doesn't print well.
I know what you mean.
And so when you spread it out, and so they're partnershiping it with the Library of Congress is Kodak. That's what came up on my library when I was at the library. The lady didn't even know how to do it. She was learning. She says, "Oh, Kodak is doing this improved imaging. We have a program for that here at the library." Well, it doesn't surprise me. They're in public-private partnership with these. And besides, that library in Lehigh is in partnership with all libraries, including the Library of Congress. And so if I want anything printed that I can't get off these statute of large books, I go down to my local library and make their computers sing.
Okay.
It might not let you print it. Things have gotten real bad because I've been ripping pages out of those books for a long time. Take them right out of context. You think I'm kidding? I'm not.
Okay. Well, I just put the cursor down in the lower right-hand corner, and there's a little icon come up, and I clicked it, and it blew it up like you were talking about.
Okay. But
then,
to try to get it to print is a different story. You have to save it.
Well, then I covered it. I highlighted it with the cursor, and then did a copy, and then opened up the Word program, and then did a paste, and it pasted right into the page. And
did it spread it out?
Yeah.
And so you have a printout that's all spread out?
Yeah, it looks just perfect. I'm going to print it now to see how it prints. What I'll do is I'll scan these and put a little click through there on the military page so people can go look at these documents.
Keep in mind, what they did with that act is they reserved it for themselves.
I see.
So who's been getting, if you go back to the Northwest Ordinance, you have to first off, in that act, it says that they get 4,000 acres, but what's in contention is 12,000 total. So that what it tells me is there's 3 people there, and so why the necessity of 3? Well, you go back to the Northwest Ordinance, and if you have an affidavit and it's done before 3 witnesses, and that's the criteria for that act you're looking at right there. And so the key is do they have a trust? They even say that they have a trust in it. So I secured this a long time ago.
Down at the bottom of the page, it says it says regulating the grants of land appropriate for military services and for Society of United Brethren for propagating the gospel among
Whose gospel?
It says Section 1, be enacted by the state, by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled.
Not the United States.
Yeah. That the Surveyor General be, and he is hereby required to cause to be surveyed the tract of land beginning at the northwest corner of the 7 ranges of townships and running thence 50 miles due south along the western. I have to go to the next page.
Do you know why? Because they were in military service during the Revolutionary War. They couldn't pay them in gold or silver because the banks in this country were broke. They paid them in land.
Okay, so I'm going to put these...
Guess what's happened to all the banks in this country? They don't have no money in it. Credits.
Boy.
Deja vu all over again.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to go up and get those other pages. Was this just this page and the next page?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
490, 491. Take a look. Click over to the next page. It has a little arrow up there somewhere at the top or bottom that says next page.
Yeah, I lost my connection. I have to go clear back and start.
Oh, that's because you're in an area that you're not supposed to be in. Duh. Normally, if you were under the pages that says we're implementing socialism, they would want you to read that. Or if you were over at the 14th Amendment, they'd like you to read that. Duh. They're the 14th Amendment citizen. You're not. None of us are. We're the creators of government. We're the producers. They're the consumers. Shit. They consume everything. With the advent of these phosphate mines stripping the land, does it surprise me? No, because they are the destroyers. Interesting, huh?
Yes, very interesting.
No, you just make a click to that if you want to really see the act of Congress. And see if a person did a page by page of volume 1 of the statutes at large and go through that entire book, which is about 800 pages, they'd find all sorts of acts that have been deleted, omitted, made null and void. But not that one. They need that.
Okay. I got it up here. Then it says...
and they're using it foreign and domestic.
Okay. Ben 2-4, appropriated by Congress. B, and they are hereby set apart and reserved for the purposes herein after mentioned. Section 2, and be it further enacted that the said
your
land
enacting clause,
shall be granted
only... Isn't that where your enacting clause is? That everyone says, oh, there's no enacting clause. There's your enacting clause, kiddo. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And what is it to? Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act, Title 50, Section 560 through 563. That's what makes it so.
I see. Okay.
Now, according to them, they're the Congress of the United States because they're a bastard child corporation now.
Okay.
They weren't then. They had to stop this because there was a massive flood of land going into other people's hands and not the Vatican and its agents. That's why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
About control.
Yeah, it does.
About setting up holding companies to hold the land, to control the people. What was it? What was his name? Henry Kissinger once said, you want to know how to control a nation, you use oil as a weapon. You want to know how to control the people within that nation, you use food as a weapon.
And it says Section 2, and be it further enacted that the said land shall be granted only in tracts containing a quarter of the township to which they belong, lying at the corner
not counties, townships.
And that the Secretary
that means they're territories still.
Yes, that the Secretary of the Treasury shall, for the space of 9 months after public notice in the several states and territories, register warrants for military service to the amount of any one or more tracts for any person or persons holding the same, and said shall immediately after the expiration of the said time proceed to determine by lot to be drawn in the presence of the Secretaries of State and of War the priority of location and said registered warrants, and the person or persons holding the same.
I've got 100 warrants to be picked up, don't I? Because they're the holders in due course of this property, aren't they?
Right.
And that all was issued way back in November of 2000. It's way past 9 months, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Sure it is.
And it continues, shall severally make their locations after the lots shall be proclaimed.
Why don't you call up what's his Duflon? Oh, that's right. He's not in front of his computer anyway.
And it continues.
Along some river, I know.
Yeah. After the lot shall be proclaimed on a day to be previously fixed in the before mentioned notice, in failure of which they shall be posting and locating such warrants to all other persons holding registered warrants.
Do you know where I want my 4,000 acres?
Located under the authority of this act shall be granted in the manner directed by the before mentioned act without requiring any fee therefore.
You know where I want my 4,000 acres?
Why?
Where?
Oh, where?
Yeah.
I would...
because it's solicitation with intent to defraud, if you read the statute, it's triple damages, so it's 12,000. And that was before they null processed the case, because I got that on record in signing their documents in the month of October of 2003.
Why don't you take the land where the building is sitting on it?
I'm gonna secure the 12,000 acres along the river called the Caloosahatchee, running inward along the Cleveland Avenue, and capture their Just For Us centers, their clerk centers, and everything, and make them footstools to me.
Well, that sounds like a good project.
Yeah, because that's where most of the lawyers are.
That's a good goal to shoot for.
Yep.
I can't think of a better one than you to go for it.
I mean, I could live on any floor of the Lee County Administration building. Let them go get another one.
Well, we got to get this in action here. It says, and be it further enacted
and
that after
Stop. If you can find how to browse through that website, you can go through that document, because I've listed the statute at large volume, the page, in all the different points of the array of the court, and find the documents I'm talking about. For example, all the treaties that you'd ever want to look up, they're listed in there. Like, for example, the Puget Sound is listed as 9 stat, pages 860-something. All you do is go click on Volume 9. But first, this is how you train people. You click on this. This gets you to the browser page where all the statute at large books are. Then you click on the appropriate volume. And then when that cursor box comes up, you put in that book and page number as so defined inside the files. I've done an immense amount of research on this. It's very accurate. Period. Duh. That makes sense?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Sure does.
It makes it real simple for you. You've already clicked and said, here's perfected defaults, and you say click here, and it sends them over to the U.S. Code. You want to know where we get our authority? Click over here. It's called the Bible. And here's our patents to land. Click here. It goes to that session law. And here's the enacting clause that makes it so. Being enacted. That's why I use language in there. It's called be it established and ordained. Why? Because he establishes boundaries, countries, and nations. Who ordains his people? People that are doing the work. That's it. Hopefully I'm in this ledger book with a whole bunch of credits to my name. I won't know that until someday. In the meantime, I know that I've been blessed and sealed from all this harm that would normally befall any person
Well, this is the law, and our men in service are entitled to what.
Yeah, all entitlements, foreign and domestic, international, national, and statewide.
And this all ties back to the Soldiers and Sailors Act.
Sure it does. Way before the Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act of 1918, that started it.
Right.
And where do you think they got this idea from anyway? They got it from the Bible. Go out and inhabit the land the Lord thy God giveth thee. Period. Is there military service? All you have to do is look in that Bible back around page 570 or something of that Sword Bible. By the way, I'm going to probably ship them in a box, one of those flat rate boxes.
Okay.
Two Bibles and two.
I have a couple people that are interested.
How many do you want? I think I can get 3 of them in there.
That would be good. If you could put 3 in there, and then I'll forward them as they. I have some people and addresses here I could send to you, and then you could go ahead and just mail them right straight to them, and they can mail you the money.
Very good. Or you could handle it. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. They were paid for over a year ago. They're the last of them, though.
How many do you have left?
Probably 6.
6.
I'm just taking a guess. Probably about 6, and these are the non-copyrighted ones. My friend Bobby, when he came across these were in a warehouse. They had dust on them. I'm not kidding you. He said he didn't even know that they existed.
And how much do you want for those? 23?
Yeah, 23 or 25, something like that.
Okay, plus the shipping.
Plus the shipping, plus the $5 for the little one if they want the little one.
Okay. Well, I think the little one is really.
It's cute.
Well, it's nice.
It's a baby big one. That's what it is.
Right. Well, it's really a nice package.
But the new one today, it's made in Goodyear, Arizona, and it's copyrighted. It's got an ISBN number. These don't. The guy that started creating it owns a radio station over in West Palm Beach.
You know, looking at this act here, or this statute, Section 3, and be it further enacted that after the time limited for making the locations as aforesaid, any person or persons holding warrants of the before-mentioned description sufficient to cover any one or more tracts as aforesaid shall be at liberty to make their locations on any tract or tracts not before located. Section 4. And be it further enacted that all the land set apart by the first section of this act shall, misnomer there, I'll start over again, that all the land set apart by the first section of this act, which shall remain unlocated on the first day of January in the year 1800, shall be released from the said reservation and shall be at.
Do you realize that's before BLM was even created?
Oh, yeah.
No shit.
This overrides them.
No shit.
And shall be at the free disposition of the United States, and it's capital U, United, capital S States, in like manner as any other vacant territory of the United States, and all warrants or claims for lands on account by military services, which shall not, before the day aforesaid, be registered and located, shall be forever barred.
No shit. That's why I use time barred. Time barred.
Section.
You had a time to answer this, and where does it say you have a time to answer? Section 520 of the Soldiers and Sailors.
Right.
That's all you had back then. You had the Marines, which were attached to the Navy, and you had the Army, and that's it.
Section 5, and be it further enacted that the said Surveyor General be and he is hereby required to cause to be surveyed 3 several tracts of land containing 4,000 acres each.
Do you know why if it's 12,000 and it's 4,000 each, that means there's 3 people that comprise this thing called the United Brethren Society. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Has to be. It's the only thing that makes any sense. If you do the math.
And
because each one of them were probably ex-military.
Huh.
Military service.
Being the tracts formally set apart by an ordinance of Congress of the 3rd of September, 1784 for the Society of United Brethren for propagating the gospel among the heathen.
Heathens. You know where I'm doing it? The heathens are within now. They're downtown.
And issue a patent or patents for the said 3 tracts of the said society in trust for the uses and purposes of the said ordinances set forth.
No shit, Sherlock. If everyone joins aboard this, you know what happens to the holdings of the Vatican that they have in this country? They won't have none. There goes all their UN biospheres. There goes all their parks.
Wow.
All their preserves. Every bit of it.
Section 6.
Don't you realize what's at risk for them? It's everything they've been working towards.
I know. This is really, really powerful.
Why don't you call up what's his name and read it to him?
Let me read this last section. It was approved June 1st, 1796. Section 6. And be it further enacted that all...
Why do you think I came across that? When I stumbled across that and I was just flipping pages.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, and then I said, uh-oh, they made a boo-boo. They should have never let me read this.
Huh. That all navigatable streams or rivers within the territory be disposed of by virtue of this act shall be deemed to be and remain public highways, and that in all cases where the opposite banks of any stream not
banks streams
of any stream not navigable.
Don't you realize that they're talking about monetary and revenue streams? Go ahead.
And that in all cases where the opposite banks of any streams not navigable shall belong to the different persons, the stream and the bed thereof shall be common to
both parties. That's right.
And it says approved June 1st,
Do you know why the apostille?
1796.
Why we want the apostille? Because it overrides all U.S. passports, any kind. It allows us to walk across the ocean and across all nation states, all of them. No passports required.
Huh.
That's why I can't wait for this thing to expire.
Well, I'm going to scan these in and put these up so people can do a PDF download and look at them, instantly.
Oh, click here for...
right, and then I'll give a click through for the Congressional Library for further research.
Yeah. Go there. And see, this is before they set up their bar.
Well, really, all people have to do is just take this PDF file and email it to their congressman or senator.
And that's their DD-214. Say, I'm going to get on the list.
Yeah. And in fact, on the Attention Military page...
click here.
At the
bottom. This is where all your enacting clauses are.
Right. Well, at the bottom of the
Starts
page...
with the Bible, Leviticus 25, and it says at 23, the land is mine, so saith the Lord. And that's the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. Because they don't define it, I define it. I know that they're talking about a different gospel there.
Right.
And the United Brethren, that sounds like a fraternity, doesn't it?
It does.
Sure does. I think that's where the beginnings of Russell Trust started. Could very well be, couldn't it?
Sure could.
Yeah. We can't find out the date that it came here. It's around 1802 or so. But there's like no foundation. Why? Because it's Vatican. Vatican is what is commonly referred to as a corporate soul. It exists because it exists. There's no foundation to it. And I'll tell you why. It's because they burnt the records departments in Rome. That even makes more sense. And with all their little burning escapades, it's about eradicating knowledge. That's all it is. sons of the wicked one. Duh. War of 1812. What did they want? They wanted to eradicate the knowledge that was in the Library of Congress then, especially any original Articles of Confederation, period. So they could start rewriting history. If you look at the front of the book, you're going to find, in the very beginning, you're going to find a certification page. It's going to be Esquires. I'm not kidding you. If you read like the foreword to the book, volume 1, you're going to find out that they started in 1846 compiling these books. And so you have to ask yourself, gosh, if they started compiling in 1846, they must have had a mountain of acts of Congress up until that point that weren't cataloged. That's right. And who were these people cataloging them? Esquires.
Bar attorneys.
That's right. Where from? Across the pond. And these books were recertified in 1991. Whose watch? Who was on watch that caused it to happen? George Bush. Sherwood's case was so paramount that it scared them. He didn't come into court because they could have arrested him. And because he never answered it, all the state attorneys and all the U.S. attorneys were all time barred. All of them. What you don't understand is a simple premise. Can the executive branch, meaning the president, write executive orders with the consent of the Vatican, the Crown, and the WTO to override Ninth District Court of Appeals cases and U.S. Supreme Court cases? Yes. They've been rewriting it through their stuff because it's only the opinion of the court. It's not the testimony of the court. Is it? What do you think swears these people in? They swear each other in. Judges swear in judges. God. You didn't know that? You know who used to? Notaries. Public.
I thought they were park commissioners.
Huh?
I thought they were no more than park commissioners.
I'm just telling you that the state bar swears in the state bar.
Yeah.
And so it's a closed loop club.
Right.
Real simple.
It's no different than any other club in town.
No. Like I say, I keep telling people I've been in better bars than they'll ever be in. Oh, if you need another one of these in yours? Order. What are you going to do with that? Oh, good. Not today. Okay. You want me to put it in your car trunk, though, today? So it's in there, so when you get around to go in there, it's there. Good.
Well, Michael, I'm going to say goodbye to you. I'm going to start putting some of this together.
Yeah, I always manage to give you more work, don't I?
You always do, but, I mean, this is so critical.
No, it's not. They know what it is. They know. That's the whole thing. And when you take a look at that point number 30, I'm so precise on all of it that they know what I'm dealing with. Sure, have to be.
And that's page 7 of the Florida.
The Florida default.
July 6th.
Yeah.
2000.
And so when they couldn't define and wouldn't define what money is, remember I was reading, then the array of the court did. Because they didn't want to define what communism and fascism and Nazism did, then the array of the court did. And because they didn't list a definition for funds, the array of the court did, meaning all the files, all the files, all the files. They would never, I keep telling people this, they would never write an order to kill themselves. That's why you have to write your own. Real simple when you think about it. So when they do go into default, then they agree to all the terms of the capitulation. Oh, we didn't agree to that. The hell you did? Then answer it all. It's the only other alternative they have. That's it. and it better be by affidavit. See, because they're operating in this country, even though they're foreign agents and they're not registered, because they're operating in a facility, even the World Law Firm Group, they're not immune to this. That means no matter where they send and they use the mail system, then that means whatever state's laws under perjury and whatever United States laws of perjury. That's it. The only option to save their butts is to get out. Then they lose control. They're the overseers. I'm telling you that. Duh.
Well, they sure do have.
Yeah, I know.
But they sure do have everybody buffaloed.
Well, they do.
I mean, they've got people buffaloed to the point where
I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in.
Well, a judge just 30 miles away from where I live decided that an Alzheimer's patient wouldn't want to live, so he court ordered no food or water.
That's because he's preserving the trust.
Right.
You have to understand the motives behind it. And so, is it greed? Yes.
It is, and we're going back to 1913 on that trust part, but aren't we?
Yeah.
But the whole situation is that they think they're God, that they can just take a life.
In fiction.
In fiction, but you can imagine when they're on a regular court.
Come on now. Isn't Lucifer the God of this world? Yes.
Yeah. Well,
until you take over the controls and the restraints that you actually delegated to him. That's what people have done. They've given the authority to the wrong people.
Well, I understand, but there was a study done. You
didn't see Christ in the New Testament acquiesce to anything of the Pharisees, scribes, or Sadducees, or even Lucifer himself. He was taken up to a high mountain, wasn't he?
Right.
I'll give you all these kingdoms. I'll bet any money he was laughing inside. I'll give you all these kingdoms. They're mine anyway.
Well,
But I created all these. No, you didn't. What do you think created you? I can almost hear what he was saying. What kind of balderdash?
Can you imagine how thick this man's head is inside? Considering last week he might have ruled on an Alzheimer's patient and sentenced her to death with no food or water in a court order. Yeah. And now he's got somebody in his court with a driver's license problem, and
he's dumping the trust issue into their square, right into their lap.
Right.
Yes. And so does it go back to, is he a murderer now instead of preserving the trust? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And is he out on a limb? Especially if he records that the last set of documents, which is all the U.S. trustees.
Right. That's why that
does it all.
So powerful.
Huh?
That's why everything is so powerful.
Well, it deals with layers and layers and layers. Right. But the fact is any other name known as Lucifer, the devil, the Satan, is he the same guy? Sure he is. Same guy.
Well,
here's what happens when they go against you. First, they label themselves an Antichrist. They go into the unpardonable sin zone. That's what happens. And then they become a war criminal under Chapter 8 of the Laws of Land Warfare. That's what happens by their actions. That's why I tell people, don't get involved. Why? Because you're going to let their conscience, their actions and acts cause them to either adhere or break it off.
And we're looking at that page 14 of the 14 pages in demand.
Sure, it causes it. The multiple signature, and keep this in mind, does it give them a way out? All they have to do is call Lisa. That's all they have to do. Has he paved the way? Is there a way out for us? Yes, you have to become party to it. And see, what happens is then a judge is party to both sides. And guess what happens to him at the bench? He becomes a neutral, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yep, like he's supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, Michael, I've got to share the phone.
Yeah, say hello to your Mooma.
I sure will. I thank you for everything.
Yeah, Mooma Day. That's what I call moo.
Well, I gave my mother a good hug this morning, and she has asked me for the phone.
Yes.
Okay.
Give her the phone. Goodbye.
All right. Goodbye.